Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from a new location for NSL Live Talk with the same people though. David Grautz back on the top left and Gary Schmidty Smith on the bottom. And he is back. Schmidty, we missed you last time. How was the soccer? How was Yannick's soccer game?
Yeah, very good. I needed a break.
Oh, you came up with excuses.
No, they play such little soccer over here that if I get a chance to go and watch, I go and watch. So it worked out great.
Oh, by the way, I'm at the live event, and we are supposed actually to do this. I was actually quite surprised because Arizona has been a wide open state, but they have been pursuing it quite strictly here actually. So, but it's limited to restaurant, boarding area, plane, and creeping area. Now that's where you have to wear a mask and.
So people in close surrounding.
Yeah, and people are executing it. In fact, no. Well, okay, let's leave that aside. That's not our topic. There's too much talking about that anyway. But the competition is over here with all its drama, including technical difficulties and stuff. So I just want to apologize once for the delay at the beginning with the scores, but there was a good reason for that, bad reason for it. But now we are back on track, and we know all the scores, and we have seen the first videos. And David and Gary, both of you as coach and as competitor, you lost your world record average.
Yes. Well, I mean, it was a lot sooner than expected. I mean, I think the last time when we set the world record was 28.9, I think in the US Nationals in Refort 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2019.
Last year, right?
2019.
It's still last year, yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, 2019. Yes, exactly, yeah. Well, but time goes so fast that
I know.
1 year, 2 years, it's right behind me. But yeah, I mean, it went sooner than expected. I thought it was it will take a little bit longer. Eventually, it took only 1 year, and not by a little, by a lot, I think. So they went from 28.9 to 29.3, and I told the NSL already last year that 30 average is around the corner. So I think yeah, will be very exciting to see who would break the first time the 30 plus mark.
Is it possible, Schmidty? Do you think the 30 average will fall? I mean, we're talking about an extremely fast competition draw this time here.
Yeah, you need a fast draw, but for sure, if you have the likes of an Airspeed, a Hayabusa, a Rhythm, and they get another fast draw, there are mistakes for sure. There's not big mistakes that would have yielded maybe a 30 on this draw, but for sure, I think we have to believe that the way that the sport's going, there will be a 30. And I agree with Dave. And obviously, I think it's good to see. Of course, it's always sad to lose a record if you're Hayabusa. But on the other side, it's good for the sport to see that there are people continually pushing it. And it's not necessarily only a Hayabusa. So I think in this sense, it's great. It's good for the sport. It's good for all competition, four-way and even eight-way, to see that records are still being broken, you know. So I think it's what we witnessed today. And even I take my hats off to Rhythm. I think Rhythm also had a great performance.
Who do we want to look at first? Airspeed or let's take a look at them, and then
Let's have a look at Airspeed.
Begin with the Airspeed. That was one of the first things that I tried to get done yesterday with a new computer here. Get the videos up. So not only the scores, but the videos. And here we go. We don't have the scoring and the actual scoring. We only see the jumps, but good enough for me.
Yeah, I think very solid exit. I mean, it's one of the things that they do very, very good, very well. And then I think the engineering is standard B, and then bringing the point into the center for the D. I think they do very well, although after 25 seconds, then you will see that they actually start accelerating more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then I did looked at it a few times, and I do see two busts instead of one. I see a bust on a B at 19 seconds, where the inside center and the outside center, what do I say, on an A. So I see a bust on what do I say on an A. Yes, a bust on an A, and then a little bit later, right after, is a bust on a B.
Yeah, the judging of those kind of rounds is trickier.
Yeah, a question, Kurt, how many judges did they have looking at it? Were there three judges? Because I heard them say it would be FAI. It's not 5 judges. It was a 3-judge panel.
Yes, 3-judge panel. Yeah, so you know, it's not an official FAI meet anyway, as far as I know. I don't know if they tried to get approval as an FAI meet. So those are all unofficial so far, unofficial results. So the world, you know, I mean, there is no world record for an average anyway. That's only NSL records, you know. Yeah, we are going into round 2.
Yeah.
Oh, Joey is here. Okay, let's welcome Joey. If I can get the sun here.
Pause it.
And I'm hoping we are still recording. Joey's back, so the full panel. Let me pause this for a second and say hi. Say hi to Joey. If we can get him in. Joey, are you there? Joey. Not yet.
I hear him.
He's trying. He's probably at an airport somewhere with a lousy connection, trying to get. No, he's in Texas.
Yeah, he said he'd lost baggage, right? He lost Elon lost all his baggage.
Yeah, we'll see when he's back. We'll see it on the. So let's just continue here with the S-speed round.
This is the second round, and I think it was correct engineering from the 22 to that 20. It yields also perfect for the 16. But both teams took the same engineering, and I think ASP just had a slightly slower first block 20, you know. But for the rest, also very good 3 very well executed blocks. You know, I don't see there's too much in that. On a 3-block jump like that, there's not going to be too much difference between the teams.
Strong 16s, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we took a look at this already earlier anyway, because now that we didn't really have that much of a difference on the slower rounds between rhythm and airspeed.
Hey Kurt, if you go back to the exit, I know last week with Joey and Dave, we discussed a little bit about the video, and I must say we were all complimentary. We thought the video was good. There was a couple of rounds on this one with both video men that you cannot always see all the grips on the exit, all the separation in between if it's randoms, you know. So this one you can't really see that top right-hand grip unless you slow it. So the point coming out, if you look at the right hand, the top grip, and again as a coach, I would be saying to the team that's not going to score, it's not going to score. You've got to present that. But obviously the judges, I'm guessing, scored everything with that. But there's a couple of jumps where they are random out the door, or the E to the 1. You cannot see separation from the E to the 1. I know it's there, but if we go strictly by the rules, they should not be scoring those. You know, so it's just because we commented last week on the video. The video this week was, I think, a little bit maybe tougher because the points were coming quicker out the door. But there's a couple on both the rhythm jumps as well. I thought there was some tricky stuff.
All right, now we have Joey there, so I'm going to stop it here again to welcome Joey here. I see you there, Joey. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. Where are you?
Texas. Sunshine.
Texas. You made it. You made it. Well, I'm happy for you. Are you in quarantine or are you free?
No, I'm free. They didn't. Surprisingly, traveling through the borders was seamless. I thought there'd be some questions about where have you been and what have you done, and they didn't ask anything. So,
I welcomed you home, Joey.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Going to be here for a couple of months until January when we got things scheduled, hopefully in Wemby for the competition.
Well, I hope you saw the jumps already. If
I
we're
haven't
just-
seen all the jumps. I was busy with the family running around, and I just got the message upstairs, so I thought I would jump on and we can watch it
cool.
go. And
Yeah, great, because then you watching them for the first time is even better.
yeah,
So we can see your first reactions of
some great scores though from airspeed. I got to say, definitely a stronger performance. I mean, we obviously knew the draw was going to be fast, but I'm not for sure if any of us expected that fast.
Yeah, so we're going into round 3 here. We saw the first one, the fast one already, and took it apart. Here comes another technical one now after the first world record
Better
sequence.
18s. So we talked about the 18s at the Cloud Mondial, and the 18s there were a little bit over-rotated. These ones are much better on the 270-degree line. So a better performance for the 18s, and also the 10s are less over-rotated. So I think they really listened to our complaints, comments, let's say, and they've worked on it, and you can see a lot of improvement already.
Wasn't that rhythm that we were so unhappy, or the panel was so unhappy with the over-rotation, or was it airspeed?
It was both.
Airspeed on the 18s for sure were over rotating, but on this one, I agree with Dave. It's I'm trying to look at the scores at the same time. They beat rhythm by 1 point on this jump, 10, 18, 3. And again, I timed a little bit of it. There's very little in it between the two teams.
Well, it becomes pretty obvious that the difference between the slower sequences and the faster sequences are becoming more and more critical. We have, I brought it up yesterday at the rhythm interview that you've probably not seen that yet. I just posted it this morning, but they are, of course, totally aware of the situation that the fast sequences need to be taken on.
Yeah, 100% correct. I think we can discuss that a little bit towards the end. I mean, now let's just get through the jumps, but for sure, that's a big point for rhythm.
And we look at rhythm, when we're done here. That's happy with that exit, Schmitty, filming?
Yeah, I mean, this one, the E is good. It's close. It's close, but then the E to the 1, I can't see the separation. Nicholas going to the top grip. He has it because the block 1 starts to turn. But if you watch, I mean, it's jumping on my screen, so I can't really see it exactly. But the E, I scored it for sure. But the E to the 1, you can't really see the top 1 grip, if I remember correctly. I can't see it 100% here, maybe in my own video. So that one, there's a top grip, and it's jumping for me, unfortunately, here from your video.
Yeah, the connection, it's always difficult to show that in real speed because the internet will interfere somehow.
Yeah, but for the rest, I think, I mean, it was just a comment for the video work out the door. It was tough because the teams were obviously throwing the random and going quickly into something. But from a coaching point of view, you need to show that separation. Otherwise, it could catch you in a meet.
Yeah, and I think it's also there the correct engineering with the end, the inside center actually on the top of the end.
Yeah,
it's unconventional. You don't train it so much. It rarely comes up. Sometimes after arrival into an end. But this one, I think they did really good. And I think a little bit later you will see the rhythm jump, and then the first one got a little bit caught with distance between the new top of the end, the inside center, and then the old. Or let's say the outside center. So you do not train it so much, and they got a little bit caught on that one. And it's very rare to train it, but I think Airspeed performed it really well.
Into that relatively. That's the first one. When you do that,
we are going into round
5.
That is 5 already. Okay, so
this is 5. Yeah.
I just think out, leg, in, step on.
Also a very good jump, I think in general, if you look at this jump, and especially now when they really start to accelerate, when every random set becomes so small, I think it's very hard to beat for every team.
Yeah. And the same as the first jump, just as Dave picked up, they pick up a rhythm, and their pages start to get faster and faster and faster through the jump.
Basically, this foot is on the step. It's just hanging. So out.
This sequence, these pages are really exceptional.
The random work is a lot smaller than we've seen in the past.
Oh, that's your leg. Okay. Now out.
What are we getting some feedback from somewhere, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I hear the same. Kurt, there's somebody kind of
Somebody
interrupting.
speaking there, Kurt?
It seems like someone's hacking.
I've already nodded. Yep.
There are some people nearby that you may hear, but not really.
Okay, we pick it up quite loud
We
here.
pick it up really loud here, yeah.
Well, now there shouldn't be anything anymore except for me. But
You know,
It's
it's
still-
also very nice. You know, it's also very nice to see is actually the work of Joey, the point what he actually does. So the combination actually from 9 to 9, where he has a lot of work to do, is actually very nice. And you will see a little bit later when Andrew does the same thing. He's kind of struggling, and you also see that it makes it much more difficult for the team to pick up that same rhythm that Airspeed has.
Yeah.
But I think Joey does a great job in being light and on top of his toes to make sure that he's in and out quite well.
Well, I can say that Dennis was impressed. He sent a message. I don't hear that often from him, but he sent a message and said, that he was impressed with
It looks it's a big improvement on already the Cloud League. So
I mean, what I really noticed, the shape of the H to the Q to the P is they've really tightened up the random work and made it much more efficient.
One more time for everybody. Round 5, which set the foundation for the record average. And they did work, we talk about this a little bit later too, but they made this very clear in the interview also, after the Cloud Mundial, that they were much better prepared this time. They handled this one here like a real competition as of preparations and everything, while the Mundial was kind of a little bit thrown into the whole.
Yeah, but I don't see that as an excuse, because we had the same thing. Mike was never ready. We only did 250 jumps. I mean, it's a little bit of an excuse that's being used for not trying to win that meet. But eventually, I mean, that went for the same thing. We were also not ready. We were also on the scale of, hey, will we do it or not? What is the gain and what is beneficial for us? And eventually we did it, and they did it as well. And I think we're on the same. Let's say on the same bar. So yes, it's an excuse because you do not attack it as how you would attack a meet like such as this one. But eventually when I look at my team, we were up against the same. It's up against the same. It was up against each other on the same base. So I don't see it.
And I think all teams were doing 10, 12 jumps a day on that Mondial meet. They were doing four meet rounds and then training jumps and 4 meet rounds. So there was nobody treated it like a meet. So I hear them. They have to be better prepared for this, because we saw that their preparation was 1 jump at a time before, leading up to the meet, and then you take it as 5 jumps in a day. So for sure, you're better prepared. I think there's no doubt.
You would expect a better performance for sure, right? I mean, if you've got you're on site, you've got competition on site, you're doing meet preps, you're doing 4 jumps a day or something, 5 jumps a day, for sure you're gonna do a better performance and they've had time to train, so good for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to also it also teaches a little bit, since we will not have much except for those online Mondials in the near future. It's kind of a learning thing for everybody. Next time, I mean, Airspeed made it very clear. Next time they want to take the online Mondial serious, like a real competition, so they can.
But they have now, at this moment, they have the time. They have the time. They did 700 jumps. They're a year together. Many teams in Europe do not have that time. They will still need to first get into a certain rotation, make sure that they become stronger before they can even start thinking about attacking a Cloud Mondial like this. So eventually, at the moment, I see them like if you would put like some sort of a stair, I put them on the top, what is of course very normal. But this is normal. If you do 700 against teams that only do 250, you can be the talent or the best skydivers in the world. If you do not jump, there's no secrecy. If you do not jump, you cannot win.
Oh, that was the second. Let's go to the second day. Now we really have. We had a first day and a second day, not like the Cloud Mondial where we are simulating that. This is now the beginning of the second day.
Yeah.
With round 6. The first half was identical with the first day. And
amazing video, huh?
Yeah.
And I do think the Cloud Mondial 8, the 8 on the Cloud Mondial was better than this one.
Yeah. You also see airspeed on this jump when they went from the G to the F, the outside center. There's a bit of a grip fumble between Nicholas and Joey on the front. They're having an outside center go outside, to look outside. And we discussed that in one of the previous debriefs where you kind of take the grip in front of you. And this one, it's not exactly the same example, but you'll see he's looking out for a grip and then he has to go back in. And rhythm doesn't do it. And I think it's one of those, the more you look out for that grip, you then, you're taking your eyes off everything for one grip. And I would personally go, let the outside guy pick it up. And obviously they have their reasoning for it.
But you've got the point looking back through the middle anyway, right? I mean, he needs to be looking back there. So it's pretty easy for him to reach back and take the grip and let the center stay with the center, because as an outside center, I can feel that and have my focus back and be more part of the key instead of having to take my eye out. But that could be a over-controlling outside center who wants to take more grips.
Yeah. And of course, if you can go from the G to the F, your F to 12 is right there, if you can cheat it enough. Like I know Dennis and Andy are very good at going G. They kind of back of the hand F and back into a 12. So I think in that random sequence, they could get beat for sure. Their blocks, I don't think their block 12s were all as strong as we've seen, but again, it's not a great jump. Very similar to the Cloud Mondial 8 out the door with 12.
Yeah. I don't know. How can you beat the coming? Well, I think the next one here.
But I think for many teams out there, if you look at the front piece rotation, it's exceptional good. I mean, it's really tight. It's body to body, rig to rig. The moment that they start the rotation, it's in place. And it goes in place. It actually goes so fast that in the beginning, the back piece was not even ready to attack the front piece. So it's a nice example for many teams out there.
Tough to beat this last 12 there. I was probably out of time, but tough to beat that one.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do not need to beat. Sometimes to have the same one is just good enough. You need to beat different things.
Yeah, they have problems with Mikhail on the bottom of the 15 at the door.
Yeah.
And Chris does a strange thing in his 15 turns. I think he's almost trying to feed it. Forget the hill. He's trying to feed the tail. Like he's such a good turner. Then he does something very weird, like trying to leave his legs there on the 15s. And that kind of gives them slower 15s than rhythm. If I timed their 15s, wondering what's he trying to do there. But,
maybe it came from the exit, because
no. But have a look at his 15 turns all the way down. He kind of tries to leave his legs there for Mikhail. And then he ends up doing like a bit of a looping around turn. And I think if I've seen him turn, he gets much better turns if he just turns normally.
He's overdoing that presentation thing. And
it doesn't look comfortable at all.
But
and they're slower. Rhythm has the fastest 15s on this one. I timed these.
But I think if you take it from the top of the 15 all the way till the key of the M, then you will, I think airspeed will win, because the arrival
shape
is so round, and you see with rhythm it's too big, and then the M takes a long time. And in this one, it's almost like everything is so nearby that you will see that the jump is really going forward, and that's what a team actually wants. You do not need the fastest one. You just have to make sure that everything what comes in between is well presented.
Well, that would have been that would have been my improvement on the rhythm one. They turn so good that they need to look after the finishing shape.
That's an interesting point, and we'll get to that later again. But Airspeed confirmed that actually that the engineering becomes almost a top priority. It becomes so important in many ways. To save time, you cannot really go much faster any longer, but you can have better engineering. That's another topic.
Well, at a certain moment, because you cannot go any faster, you just have to be inventive with your options.
Right.
Like for example, we're looking now at a 13 into the 14, but eventually you should be able to rotate with different piece partners so that that 14 is actually almost sitting right there for the start. So eventually, at a certain moment, the block time is a block time. You cannot go any faster. That in your mind, you need to open up a can of new possibilities.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also one path that they seem to be on already. And we haven't actually, when we're done here, Airspeed will be waiting for a conversation. I can't wait to see. I mean, it would be so wonderful to have you together with Airspeed here now. If it was me sitting here, if it was Airspeed sitting here for a conversation.
Also on this one, I wouldn't bust it, but the top grip out the door is also not great from the video angle point of view. It's the 13 out the door.
Yeah.
And I think Airspeed picked up one bust on this round. I'm guessing it was the 14.
Top of that 14.
Start. Yeah, the 114
the 14 start.
Is my guess. I'm not sure if it's in or out of time. And see, like that top, you can see Nicholas, there is a double grip, but it's not great on the video point of view.
Yeah.
That's Airspeed round
8.
Let's see if I can find that actually. Well, let's do that. I don't want to rush here too much. Let's keep it here for now. I have the score sheet, so we could find out exactly where it was. Maybe later.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a double grip on the start of one of those 13s there that looked a bit shifty as well.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced that this 13 technique is the best one. But who knows if somebody will eventually take it on. I still believe that I would,
Going
if I
backwards.
would, have like copy 18 rather, then.
I think the finish is too tight, man. Too difficult.
But the skills are unlimited now. Everybody has skills to make it happen. Nobody has tried it yet, at least not on videos that I've seen. If I had a team right now, I would try it just to look at it. There's still that, you see that gap on the completion. There's always a delay at the end where the completion has to.
Yeah, but that's because of everybody keeps that part on the rotation. Everybody wants to rotate that finish. While eventually, at a certain moment, when the two outside cross each other, you go actually on a straight line towards each other. If you keep rotating with each other, then eventually you
push each other away.
For the arrival to happen.
We've tried all the stuff in the wind tunnel with Wemby, and the arrival of the other technique is very, very difficult.
Is it? So you've tried it?
Yeah, we tried all this stuff. I mean, I'm sure Hayabusa did everything.
Yeah, we looked at it as well with Dave. But the problem is, yes, this one you finishing forward. It's like a 21 finish. You can see everything as you finish in, and you can already move. The other one, you have the grips before, and then you've got to change momentum or fix stuff. I think it's
really difficult.
It's too tough.
Arrival.
Yeah, but who knows, Kurt?
Yeah, who knows?
Kurt, put a team together, buddy. Show us the way.
Not me.
and next jump, round 9 of Airspeed, block 6. This is out the door, phenomenal, very, very fast. Block 6 out the door, and they changed their heading out the door. They used to always do that one where they brought it very, very up and down the inside and outside center, and they kind of gone back to almost like a 45 up and down. Like I want to say almost like the old way, but the old Airspeed, if I don't get myself too tongue-tied here, was very, very much up and down. They had the point and the tail across the line of flight, and now they don't. And
can we begin can we begin to call Nicholas Thomas now? Is that has he arrived there?
No, but I think he was trying to do Thomas's way because Thomas was so strong out the door with that very big. He would get his hips up there so high.
Yeah.
And I think Nicholas tried to copy that, and now he's gone away from it. But this is one of the fastest sixes that I've seen with this one out the door.
I'm also not sure that having that outside center straight up and down is worth the. Maybe there's some ego points for being able to be so dynamic out the door, but you don't get scored on ego point. You know, I mean, it's not a necessary. Besides looking cool, I don't think it has a technical advantage.
Yeah.
But this is a pretty good looking jump, huh? Pretty tight
It's a
sixes.
great jump. It's an
those-
amazing
those-
jump to watch, for sure. For sure. It's an A and B slot, and as front piece and back piece, they're doing a great job in actually handling it all the way up until the end. Good hops, nice sixes, nice round case. Yeah, this is really a top jump.
Yeah, the sixes are like the French sixes almost. You know, I think the French used to have the fastest sixes, but those sixes are difficult to beat.
Yeah, this is.
And this
Also,
was,
after the arrival, there's a dead still moment where everybody keeps on going to the next point, not sloppy and still having momentum or getting away from the center. It's just like a dead still moment and ready to go into your next move.
I mean, it got a little loose in the random set, like Dave was saying at the bottom. But I mean, they outscored Rhythm by 2, and it's just a pretty good jump, pretty solid. I mean, pretty good score.
No.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. They took the P7s on this. I mean, both teams, and they're all a little bit slower on the P7s relative to what they had on the Mondial meet.
And block 2 again in round 10, like in 2012.
Yeah.
David, does it remind you on something?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what you now see is that actually Airspeed changed a little bit their technique in the 2. At the moment now, first Nicholas goes back, the other 2 still wait, and then when he starts to pull, everybody pulls at once. And you see that those 2s are also much more tighter in the center. While in the older ones, I don't think so long ago, you saw that the donut itself was much more bigger than what they have now. So they changed a little bit their technique, and it looks very well as well. Yeah, I mean, I can still remember it like it was yesterday. In round 10.
Me too.
Epic.
Yeah.
We don't see the timing here. I don't know if 2 was also at the end of the working time here.
No.
It was definitely around 10, that we know.
But eventually they had no bust, and we had one. So.
Right.
They finished on the top of a 4 on this jump. The arrival.
I think on this jump, Nicholas also does a great job from the 4 finish to the setup of the 2. He's very static and he's in the right place. It's easy for the guys to go from the 4 finish into the 2 build and get moving. Where Rhythm was moving around a bit. Rhythm had Steve finishing a 4, and as he was setting up the 2, he was backing up a little bit, and they were all jumping onto him. So it was very difficult, I think, for them to match the airspeed block 2 times, because their 2s were moving around. They were kind of swimming a little bit before the start of the build of the block 2.
Let's turn to Rhythm then.
But as we said before, I think a big giant leap from Joey. I think Joey was on the top of his game.
Yeah.
Let's go to Rhythm. Rhythm is your opponent, David, in Tanai 2020.
Yeah.
So let's see what they had to offer here in Eloy.
I think in general, when you look at it, I think in general they're very good in normal jumps. I think at the moment, and we talked already before, they're just not ready / well prepared yet for when the faster rounds come up, and I think that's hurting them the most, because a little bit later when we do our aftermath, you will see that they actually lose it in only 3 rounds. It's a bad exit in the donuts.
Yeah.
And then they have a similar engineering as airspeed, although the jump does not have that big acceleration what airspeed has.
How many points did they lose out the door?
6. Oh, out the door.
No,
They lost 3 seconds on the first page, and towards the end they're doing a whole page in 3 seconds.
yeah,
So that's
also, I mean,
5 points. Say 4 points out of that, the whole first page. If you time airspeed's first page and the rhythm first page, and then I think towards the end they get it going. They definitely, if you time page by page, they a fraction slower than airspeed, but not by much. But I think Andy on the point is moving a little bit too much between Andy and Christy. Christy's doing a great job after the exit, of course, with her trying to pick up Andy from the D to the C. She does a great job in stretching. She's coming in maybe a little bit too much towards Doug on that random combination. But she does a great job, and I think that's the experience that she has. She does seeing something and she's moving, and she's not letting it distract her. But between her and Andy, they need to tighten up that whole sequence a little bit. The head starts to get better.
yeah, but for sure. I mean, if you're an inside center, you cannot sit still there. You need to follow that the C of the point. You need to make sure that you have that a little bit of a forward movement that you do not have to stretch your arm.
Yeah, and I think well, that's the thing. But I think Andy, if you watch Joey and airspeed, he's a little bit more static. There's pressure in towards her, I think, and Andy kind of moves around. He's super fast, but he's kind of moving, and she's not always on that grip. Oof.
But she's reaching out nicely to.
Yeah, you don't want it, like Dave said. You don't want to be reaching. You want it always. You want to always have some extra. Yeah. But she doesn't let it distract her that much.
And although these scores are very well and they look nice on the board, I think this jump is beatable. I think if you can start going from 0 in the door to 99% much more faster than after 25 seconds, then this jump this should be 60 and plus.
It's a 60 plus probably. 61, 62. I mean.
So eventually, when you come back to the essential part of the draw, then if you have a good first round, 60 plus, then you just have to match all the other rounds. You do not have to be you do not have to be better at them. You just have to match all the other rounds.
What is the official? That's true. What is the official world record that you had in Australia, David?
64 minus 2. 62.
62 official. Okay.
And that was, I think, with a more difficult random set with the Q and then coming back, or with the N. It was not so easy. I think Andy did a fantastic job, and I think this jump, the fabrication of the jump itself, is quite easier than
easy.
If you would coach a team for a random training, then these are the ones that you actually bring up on the board. Because it's so nice to do it. So it has a very nice flow. So I think it should have been more than 60. That's my personal view about it.
I mean, if you did this jump a few times, you could easily get it up 65, 67, I think. If you did it like 4 or 5 times and you would easily be in the high 60s probably. Yeah. If you got, because it would all be sitting still. I mean, there's really that J, B, A, D, C. I mean, D to C is almost a sit still if you do it right, really. Right. D, C, so for sure, there's more to it.
A lot of grips on C, though, at least.
Yeah, but the C is nice and round. Everything what comes after the C, the J is sitting right there. But you cannot stretch. I mean, the moment that Christy starts stretching, then you already know, like, okay, this is not giving her the satisfaction of that jump.
Very, very uncomfortable place to be, and hard to move with confidence. As soon as when you have to stretch so far that your body starts to twist, this way because you're reaching, you're in trouble. Yeah. That's the thing. You can't compromise this base core by having to reach. I can reach this far, but as soon as I have to go like that, then I have to compensate with my legs in order to not go out of position. And at that point, I've lost my balance, and I can no longer move freely and comfortable.
Yeah, good advice for everybody who is listening. The balance.
And then you lose the rhythm, man. Then you lose the rhythm because then you have to watch what everybody else is doing, and then instead of knowing that everything comes natural and everybody has the responsibility to be there on time, suddenly you have to watch and make sure that everybody is there before you key it.
having to turn your feet and keep the balance so you're reaching. It's just you can't flow like so.
Hey, Kurt, just on this jump, 10 out the door for rhythm was a tough one in the Mondial. And although they didn't do great on this one, it's definitely an improvement, because we kind of spoke through it thinking that they'd go to this meet without having to train much, you know, or to try and fix anything. But the 10 out the door was definitely in the Mondial was not great. And this one, at least they keep it, it's a fraction faster for sure. And we also said that their block threes on the Mondial, they were kind of flying, the three-way piece wasn't doing great. And this one is definitely better. The three here is definitely a better threes, you know, than what they had. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe in the Mondial, they were also not fully prepared, you know, didn't focus as much on every move. So you see the mistakes. But these threes are definitely more competitive with airspeed. And the 10s, the back piece is super good, as Dave said last time, but the front piece needs to help them out a little bit. The 10s haven't improved much.
The 10s, they're still over-rotating. Whoever's the inside person is just focused way too much on that leg, and the point's not getting around in long 10s. Better, but still.
Yeah. And then a piece of advice, we need to lose that cheater grip in the exit. Huh?
Yeah, I think they need to, I mean, that would be my coach's hat with rhythm, exits. They need to go and work on the exits on the first page on the hill. That's kind of what cost them in this meet. You know, so I don't know what they're doing. Of course, they've got their training program and plan, and but I'm sure they'll come to a stage where they have to go and do some 6,000-foot exits and just work first page, forget everything else, and get that right, because that's what's costing them.
Nice thing compared to the Cloud Mondial is also that we have 2 slot switches here falling into one sequence, you know, 3 and 10.
Yeah.
Eliminating each other. We had.
In fact, there was only 2 rounds here with memory, because the 16 you also got out of memory with the 22 right behind it. So it was only the 17 jump that we saw and the 12 jump, the 8-12 jump. So there's only 2 rounds with memory in it.
Pretty easy draw overall.
It was a user-friendly draw for sure.
So here we're coming to the round 4, that is now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, round 4. And again, here Rhythm lost. They had a bust on this one. I don't know if it was 1 or 2, and they lost 4 points to airspeed. And again, it's block 1 is not 100%, but the random work is, like Dave said, it's the non-standard N. And they're a little bit uncertain from the N to the E to get the right shape and distance. But so they're losing it again on a random style jump. And 4 points is a big one on this one.
Then if you look at the ones, these ones actually when the back piece rotates in front of the front piece, and airspeed does it the other way around. The front piece rotates before the back piece. But also there, I don't think it's not unbeatable, that jump. I think if you have good solid ones and a nice shaped N and E, I think you can score better on these on this round.
Yeah. It looks like the ones, they're actually making the heading is shifting, and it starts on this heading, and the front piece is having to over rotate. That's they're chasing their tail a little bit. If I just looking at it offhand the first time, I don't have my protractor out, but no, yeah, for sure. Anyway.
That's cool. The back piece is going in one direction, and the front piece is going in the direction.
Yeah, the front, they're going to 2 different directions, really.
But like I said,
No, you're correct, Joey. I think Steve either needs to get Andy further down that line, or Christy needs to put a stop on earlier the day can come around. Yeah.
It starts here. Yeah, it's just about 45 degrees off, but that's the difference. And then if you couple that with the weak random set, that's 4 points.
Yeah.
We're listening to the experts here, guys. I hope everybody pays very well attention. I'm going to point that out again. There's a lot to learn here. Some stuff that surely would not catch my attention.
And I wonder if Steve's not putting the delay on or trying to wait for Doug, is that not creating him to go further around or further up the screen? I don't know, you know, and or Doug trying to say he has in his head subconsciously he's got to beat Steve through, that he's not over driving that piece. I'm not sure.
How are you planning for fastest?
Well, what I saw on this jump was that compared to airspeed, the rhythm 9 finishes were not always great in shape. So the whole, if you looked at the airspeed jump and you tried to copy paste it on the top of this jump, the rhythm jump, the rhythm random work is moving all over too much. It's too swimming around, especially the finish of the 9 back to the H. It's never the same move. Where airspeed was robotic. Airspeed just looked like it could go on for another day, another 2 days. They could keep doing that same jump. And this one is kind of on the edge. And it goes to maybe what Dave mentioned, I think, about if you're stretching for grips, it means your next random point is going to be a little bit different each time.
I see that on the arrival 9, just a little bit stretching and just.
Yeah. And they're not always square. So then sometimes it's a bigger move into the H, and then you're into the H with momentum.
It's the timing issue, the timing between the front piece on when they're moving. And
yeah, and that's what I wanted to say. When if you look at Joey's move, he's much more tighter in his 9, and sometimes you see that Andrew is kind of on a stretch in the 9, but it makes it much more difficult to go back into the H. So his counter momentum, like for example this last one, his counter move is much more harder than what Joey has, because his 9 was much more tighter.
You actually want to be deeper in on the finish to make it easier for you. The 9 finish as on a point, you actually want to be all the way in, and then the H is going to be easier for you. But if you're stretching at it, it's going to be tougher.
That's like third.
Not cheat.
But that's it on that jump. I think also, like, they lost a little bit. Their pages are a little bit slower than airspeed, and I think it's just that the random work is moving too much.
Round 5, end of the first day. We're going into round 6. The difference after, what would be the conclusion after the end of the first day, round 5?
Airspeed just sprinted away from rhythm.
Yeah,
you said that already earlier, David. You would just say, if you're so far ahead now from here on, you just go safely back over the finish line.
You just consolidate. I mean, that's what happened with Hayabusa in the past as well. You also did the aftermath a few times. You said, like, in the beginning of the meet, Hayabusa ran away. The second part of the meet, airspeed came back. But eventually, you do not need to keep running away. You do not need to over-exceed your possibilities all the time. You just have to make sure that at a certain moment, you consolidate the meet and you bring home a good result and a positive.
But then you ended up in Australia. You ended up tight going into round 10, even though you were far ahead.
That was unexpected. It was unexpected.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I think if I can go with it with the finish of this day, I mean, I would think airspeed must have walked around chest out, very confident. They'd skydived well. Rhythm knew that they were going to lose on the faster jumps, and unfortunately 3 of them came up in the first 5 rounds. There was in round 1, there was the E jump, if I call that one of the quickest, round 4 and round 5. So Rhythm were behind, probably further than they wanted to be, but in the analysis of it, the last day, Rhythm was much stronger relative to this one. If you gave them a handicap for day 1, they beat airspeed on day 2. But as Dave said, I don't think airspeed slacked off a little bit. Airspeed just went out on day 2 and gave a solid performance, and that's what you have to do. But it's easy. The pressure's off. They were sitting in the plane, probably looking around, almost pumping fists, thinking we've got this one. And that's when you skydive better and better. Hayabusa in Australia, there was always that little bit of pressure, and the problem with Hayabusa is we had in every round there was a glitch. So you always had that little bit of doubt that we have to eliminate the glitches, and then it's that same old saying as you start to try to skydive too safely, and then things start to go wrong. And we try to debrief it and put our finger on what went wrong, and we haven't come up with a solution, except we don't want to do that again. you know. But it's just one of those that we had the gap, Hayabusa, they had the gap, they were ahead. And no one said we're going to go conservative with it, but it was just every jump there was a mistake, and there was a bust or a brain locker, and every single jump. And I think we kind of put the pressure on ourselves. And it was only round 10 that was a good jump, and then they beat Airspeed, I think, by 2 on it, and it should have been more.
But
on
the
the
world
jump.
record round wasn't too bad either.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on with David. Feed into that, please, while I'm going to speed here. Rhythm
A way better exit 8 than the Cloud Mondial. I think in this one you will see Doug is not underneath or too straight behind Christie, so a much better 8 on the hill.
And Kurt, you were mentioning about the airspeed 12s on the rhythm 12, the fourth one of rhythms. I don't know how to count them from here, but the fourth one is also time-wise very competitive. And I don't even know if that's in time, but I just timed 4 of the block 12s, and the fourth one is very, very good.
I see that Christie has also changed her 8 move, as it seems.
Well, there's one that she looks around too early. I think that it's coming there. She starts to look around.
Oh, we missed it.
There's a much better separation from Christie. We had that as a comment as well at the Mondial, where the grip switch were so tight, and this one you see that there is a lot more separation before she picks up the start.
From the 12 to the 8.
Yeah.
And this is the one that we looked at the random work from the G to the F. They have the point picking up the F grip, and it seems to work a little bit better.
Definitely, blocks look a little bit tighter than the Cloud Mondial, both of them. Yeah. You know, the 8s and the 12s, they've just tightened up. They look a little bit more focused, but that could easily be a little bit shifty grip on that 8 arrival right there.
They must have. They must have an NSL interview.
What was that?
They must have listened to the NSL interview that
probably.
Again, I would recommend to any four-way competitor to listen in here.
So this was then round 1 of day 2 for rhythm, and I think they would have landed from this one thinking, you know, it's a good jump, and I think if I'm looking at the scoreboard, they each team scores 23, so they tied airspeed on it. So a good start, you know, of the day for them.
And then they won the next one, didn't they? Let's see.
The 15 jump. Yeah, airspeed had 1 bust, but the next round, rhythm have, for me, stronger 15s. But like Dave says, they need to look after the shape of the 15 finish so they can get into the M. And then the 11s are also strong for rhythm. So when I looked at this draw, I thought 15 M11 is going to be a rhythm victory, that they would win the round, or, you know, based on the Mondial blocks. But obviously airspeed also had good 11s as well.
Yeah, so round 7 is the only winning round for rhythm here. So let's take a look at that. That's the round 7. So you were mentioning 15s too, that they had different 15s.
Yeah, rhythm 15s are, I mean, they just turn. You know, Doug's on it, and but then, like Dave says, they've got to look after their shape a little bit.
The distance between the point and tail of that cat, outside center and tail, is way too big.
Yeah.
And you know what's also very strange? I mean, for airspeed, they have Nicholas as the point and Mikhail as an outside center as an exit into the 15.
Yeah.
And this one is a standard exit.
E-style exit for the
E to 15. And airspeed switched that almost to be almost straight into the 15.
Yeah, I think airspeed have always favored that, almost from the Craig Gerard day. When he was outside center, he always wanted to dive it, so already he had grips on. He never had need to open up, and it avoids you being like in a head down position. But I don't know if you win so much on it. I mean, they had Mikhail going low on it airspeed anyway. So it's hard to work out time-wise if it would have been that much quicker.
But healthy progression, nice positive progression, a healthy aggression in that jump. Really wanting to make sure that they won that round.
Yeah. So in day 2, after 2 rounds, they're 1 point ahead of airspeed. You know, on day 2.
Same engineering as airspeed with the rollout to the arrival 13 to 14. Not the best starts in the 13s though.
Yeah, I think if you go back, I mean, don't do it now, but if you watch the airspeed 21s, they're a little bit slower than what they've had before, but I think they did it on purpose to guarantee a good 21 finish. So it's an easier build start to the 13s, where rhythm 21s seem to crash a little bit. It seems sometimes a little bit behind them, and then they have to pick up 13s, and it doesn't give them the easiest start. And obviously for both teams, this 13 with the rollout 14 is going to give you not your quickest 14 block. So they're both a little bit off.
The rollout 14, you get a little more difficulty with the cogging and the timing, and you can see it's causing some spacing issues on their 14s here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking at it for the first time, but it just looks like they're suffering, which is something you need to be aware of when you do the blind turn to the 14 to the 14 start.
Yeah, you need to train that one because their times are definitely a little bit slow, and it would be for all teams, but it's one of those that you for sure, as Dave said, you need to train certain moves.
It's very tempting to touch each other's knees, especially in the center. You go out, you roll, you touch each other's knees, and before you know, you get stuck. Or on the other side, you go out and you roll away too far away that the two centers or the two outsides cannot pick up the grip, or with stretched arm, and then eventually you end up with bad 14s as well. So the precision is very very difficult.
One of these 13 starts, you got a separation issue. The second free grip, because they've got a very strong side body.
Yeah.
It's not this. I think it's the next one on the point, Andrew. He looks like his hand is underneath the. Let me see which one it was. That one right there. It kind of bumps into the side, and it could be considered an assist grip, kind of like the 10 issue with the tail.
Yeah.
Correct.
You put it right up in there because you can't really push with your elbow. It would be nice if you could, but anyway.
Yeah.
To think about.
Assisting grip. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if they listen to this NSL interview, then next time they clean that up as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I can keep it secret until then. Well, we cannot.
Well, I hope they're celebrating, even if it's a second place. It's a 27.6 average.
It's a new record average for them too.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great
well, right off the bat, I see on this jump the same problem with the 17s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hops are not so good.
No, it's the nice K shapes, but these hops here are just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. This hop here is good. Sixes are okay. Love the K shape.
Yes.
Great. But that hop there is not going to win anything. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the same as Joey said. That 17 cost them time, and also airspeed had a very, very strong 6 on the hill. Rhythm is almost not a 1.5, but 1.2 seconds behind, just out the door. And then with the 17s, they're losing time.
Yeah.
And that costs them the 2 points, really.
That's a newer technique.
Kind of funny, so many teams and competitors on the planet would be so happy with that 17, and here we're tearing it apart.
We had it in the Cloud Mondial as well, that we had a little bit of a comment, let's say, on Mike's hops, and indeed they need to become much more better, because otherwise you end up in the same situation. You cannot win the meet with 17s like that. It's very tight, and they need to be spot on. For myself, I also knew that my 17s were not great. I had a lot of work to do for them, Never been super happy about it, but I knew my flaws very well, so I tried to cover it with other with my other qualities. On this jump, the two
Great
exits,
score.
fantastic.
Please say again, Dave. I missed that with the 4.
Best exit, the two, an amazing exit to watch. The two.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not faster the airspeed one, but it's very well presented.
Yeah.
Very nice to fly.
And almost the only thing that I see on this one, also P7s that they chose, a little bit slower, but similar to airspeeds, but the 7 to the 4, Andy's kind of holding, I think he could head switch and go straight around and start wrapping around quicker into the 4 start. He seems to be facing the wrong way each time. And I don't know if he did that deliberately. Maybe they've had some problems in the past with him, but I think that 7 finish, you want the P7s that you can get your 4 start going quicker. But he kind of keeps looking over. This one he wraps around, and then watch it. Sometimes he gets caught on the wrong side of Steve on the start of the 4. So
yeah, he's cheating it way too much the wrong direction.
there. So now he almost gets hit by Christie. So I mean that would be my only comment on it. But again, they bust on this jump. They did pick up one bust. I'm not sure where, and they would have tied airspeed on it. So it's not a all bad jump for them, you know.
Good.
Then 20 more world-class rounds that we just saw and evaluated, including world records, I mean unofficial world record averages, personal team record averages, and so forth and so forth. What's next? What are we working on? I mean, Riven knows what they're working on. They made it very clear yesterday in the interview. It was a very simple question and a very simple answer what they're working on.
Skydiving.
I don't have to ask you what that would be, but they are totally aware of that.
Schmitty, oh, go ahead, Dave's up there.
Oh, I had nothing to say. It was stupid.
I mean, the only thing I would say is like Schmitty brought it up already. They got to work it on that exit and that first page. They need to get that stuff sorted out. And obviously the random work and the speed and just being a little more solid in some of that random work. And there's some issues with some of the blocks, but it's pretty much been said by these guys.
I wish they were, you know, it's only 10 minutes and then Speed will be here and I will pick their brains, and I wish I could have them here right now so we could say hi at least and talk a little bit.
You can congratulate them from all of us. I think it's phenomenal what they've achieved and what they've done. As Dave said, they should be super proud and enjoy the victory for sure. They showed it's 10 rounds that are, as Dave put on the Hayabusa WhatsApp app, it's 10 rounds of great skydiving to watch, you know. It's I think any four-way lover is very happy to take those 10 rounds and watch them. It's good skydiving. So they should be very proud.
I will be glad to forward the congratulations and the greetings. And I'm hoping that at the latest in January, we'll be doing this again for the next, or after the next Cloud Mondial.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, for airspeed, I think that's, I mean, if that's your building block for your end of winter training for a Mondial year coming up, I think you got to be pretty happy if they can continue to build off this and add some stuff to the engineering things that we spoke about last time. They're a force to be reckoned with, and they should be really happy about it. And Hayabusa should get their asses to work.
Except that Speed is not going to the World Meet.
Some things you cannot change, but I think regarding Hayabusa, I think the four of them, because I'm just a cameraman, I think the four of them, I think it's a big wake-up call, and I expected airspeed to be there already much more sooner. It's not unbeatable, but still I put my hats off for the achievement they already did in the end of the 2020 season.
Yeah, it was great. Great way to finish the season for airspeed.
Because I'm also a big fan of four-way, I'm really looking forward to what the future might bring, because I'm a big fan of watching great skydives.
All right, I got to run now to set up for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers,
Thank
Kurt.
you very much. Have a great day, and we speak soon.
All right, see you.
Cheers, Kurt.
Bye.